Ethanol, ethanol, ethanol. Everyone is talking about ethanol. If you aren't living under a rock, you must have heard about it by now. So what is this massive buzz all about? Is it good? Is it bad? Have you noticed your car or bike giving you slightly less mileage lately? Is your engine vibrating a bit more than usual when you idle at a traffic light? If you answered yes, you are already feeling the effects of India's massive fuel shift. Since 2025, E20 fuel, which is a mix of 80% petrol and 20% ethanol, has become the mandatory default standard across the country. The government is already sprinting towards even higher blends like E85. But is this green revolution driven purely by genuine national interest to make India self-reliant, or is it fueling private personal interest? More importantly, is it going to dry up our country's drinking water? Today, we are going to look past the marketing, use simple data, and dig deep into the story. What is E20 doing to your car? To understand this, we first need to know what ethanol actually is. Think of it simply as alcohol made from plants. The blending program started quietly back in the early 2000s, but it barely moved for 25 years. Suddenly, in 2022, the government decided to fast-track everything, pulling the target for 20% blending forward by 5 whole years from 2030 to 2025. Now, why does this matter to your wallet? Think of adding ethanol to petrol like a milkman adding water to milk to make it stretch further. It sounds like a great way to save money, right? But here is the problem. Ethanol is chemical cousin to a sponge. It aggressively sucks moisture and water straight out of the air. When you leave this blended fuel sitting in your vehicle, that trapped moisture creates rust inside your metal fuel tank. It also slowly eats away at the soft rubber tubes, seals, and gaskets inside older engines, especially those built before April 2023. Did anyone ask us if our cars and bikes were engineered to handle this? On top of the potential repair bills, because alcohol holds less energy than pure petrol, your vehicle's mileage drops by up to 10%. You are buying more fuel more often, while still paying over 100 Indian rupees per litre with zero price relief at the pump. How is that fair to the everyday commuter? Let's do the macro review. Billions saved versus corporate surges. Now, let's look at the government's side because their goal does make sense on paper. India imports nearly 85% of its crude oil. In 2024 and 25 financial year alone, our national oil import bill crossed a staggering $137 billion. Think of it like a family spending a massive chunk of their money salary just on food delivery. It is completely unsustainable. By making fuel at home from crops, the government has reportedly saved over 1.84 lakh crore Indian rupees in foreign exchange and kept millions of tons of pollution out of the air. But if the country is saving billions of dollars by brewing cheaper fuel at home, why are we still paying peak prices at the pump? Why does E20 cost the exact same as pure petrol, even though it runs out faster? This incredible speed has also raised serious questions about who is getting rich of this transition. Critics point directly to companies like Cian, Agro, an ethanol supply firm linked to the family of the road and transport minister. In June 2024, Cian Agro recorded a modest revenue of roughly 18 crore Indian rupees. Just one single year later, that revenue skyrocketed to an unbelievable 523 crore Indian rupees. The minister has strongly denied any wrongdoing, explaining that this family's company provides less than 0.5% of India's total ethanol supply and that he does not hand out the contracts. But when an ordinary citizen used the Right to Information Act to ask for the official vehicle safety and engine damage tests, the government flatly refused to share them, calling them confidential trade secrets. If the fuel is completely harmless to our vehicles, why hide the test results? Are we feeding cars or people? The vehicle issues are concerning, but the environmental impact is terrifying. Originally, the government promised to make ethanol out of waste like the leftover stocks and stubble that farmers burn every winter, which causes severe air pollution. But that plan failed because the specialized recycling plants are running way below capacity. So instead, we are making fuel from actual food crops, sugarcane, maize, and rice. Let's look at the maths. To grow enough sugarcane to make just one single liter of ethanol, it takes 3,500 liters of water. If you use maize, it takes 4,500 liters, and if you use rice, it takes an astonishing 10,000 liters of water for a single liter of fuel. That is like emptying thousands of buckets of clean drinking water just to fill up the bottle of fuel. Because ethanol factories are buying up all the maize, the price of maize jumped from 15,000 to 25,000 Indian rupees per ton. And guess who eats maize? Chickens. Because chicken feed becomes expensive, the price of eggs and chicken on your dinner plate went up. Even worse, the government is now taking broken rice, which used to make up 25% of the free food rations given to 80 crore low-income citizens, and cutting that share down to 10% just to send it to ethanol factories. Is it right to divert food away from poor families to feed our cars? Niti Aayog has already warned that 21 major Indian cities, including Delhi and Bengaluru, are rapidly running out of groundwater. In rural Maharashtra, the water crisis is so bad that some men marry a second or third wife just to have an extra pair of hands to walk miles and carry water back home. We are literally drinking our future dry to keep our traffic moving. A transition that was supposed to give us a clean energy bridge to the future is turning into a massive environmental and consumer challenge. National progress shouldn't break the pockets of middle class or cause a water crisis. A truly sustainable future must be built on transparency and fair choices for the consumer. Share this video with every vehicle owner you know so they can understand what is actually going into their fuel tanks. Stay informed, keep asking the right questions, and don't stay in the dark. I'm Indu Tyagi and you're watching WantStats Research and Media. Hit that subscribe button and I will see you in the next breakdown.